Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. I'm Sophia. We're just going to wait a few more minutes for more people to join, and then we'll get started. All right, perfect. I think we can get started. Uspa, can you hear me? Uspa, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the first webinar of our series, Practical Application of AI in the Jewelry Industry. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. I'm Sophia, founder and chief sales officer at FormaNova, and I'm joined by Hassan Baig, founder and CEO, as well as Uspa, our AI and creative lead. Before we begin, I'd like to give a brief introduction to our AI platform, FormaNova, an overview of our partnership with Dubai Jewellery Group, and also what you can expect from this webinar series. Next slide, please. So FormaNova is the largest AI platform built specifically for the jewelry industry. We're based out of New York, and we're working with more than 3,000 jewelry brands across the globe, including leaders in this space. Our company has spent 5 years working in the generative AI space, and through this journey, something has become evidently clear. Jewelry requires better AI. So unlike most product categories, jewelry is extremely intricate. Every gemstone, every metal, every reflection, even the tiny details matter. And the tolerance for inaccuracy is extremely low, which means generic AI tools simply aren't designed for the standards of this industry. And that's exactly why we built FormaNova. We built this platform with input from executives at some of the leading brands like David Yurman, Saks Global, Swarovski, to deeply understand what the jewelry industry actually needs when it comes to AI. So our flagship feature is visual content generation, enabling brands to create high-quality jewelry imagery, videos, and marketing content. And we also help businesses integrate customized AI solutions like virtual try-on, AI shopping assistants, jewelry customization tools, and other AI solutions tailored to their specific needs. And to give you a bit of background of myself and my team, outside of FormaNova, I'm also a mentor at the Women's Jewelry Association of New York. I'm an advisor to Retail Women in Tech USA and an advisor to She is AI in Australia. And our team has extensive experience working with IBM, KPMG, Meta, and many more in the tech space. Next slide, please. So now I'd like to share a little bit about our partnership with Dubai Jewellery Group. This partnership came to be because of a strong alignment in vision. We believe that jewelry businesses embracing AI today will be the ones shaping the next generation of this industry. Dubai Jewellery Group has been extremely forward-thinking in recognizing that and in wanting to equip its members with the knowledge, tools, and support that it needs to lead this transformation. So as part of this partnership, we're launching 3 key initiatives. Firstly, the educational webinar series in which we will explore practical AI applications across the jewelry industry. Second, we'll be offering one-on-one consultations for brands looking to identify where AI can optimize their own workflows and create measurable business value. And lastly, every organization will receive complimentary access to FormaNova, including 100 free credits, so you can experience the platform for yourself. Next slide. Phases. It began with excitement and experimentation, followed by a wave of pilot projects as organizations explored where AI could fit into their businesses. Today, we're entering a much more exciting and practical stage. So the question has shifted from can we use AI to how can we use AI to improve our business? Where can we increase efficiency? Where can we elevate creativity? How can it improve the customer experience? So these are the questions that we hope to answer with you during this series. And now I'd like to hand it over to Uswa. Thank you again so much for joining. Uswa, you can take it from here. Uswa, I think you're still muted.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you so
Perfect.
much, Sophia. Hello, everyone. I'm Usra, Principal AI Engineer at FormaNova. Today, I want to keep this very practical. I will walk you through the applications of AI and where it can actually help your jewelry business. Today, the AI landscape has become very wide. AI can support visual production, improve customer experience, and also work behind the scenes in the areas including sales, inventory, pricing, operations, and demand forecasting. It's not a comprehensive list, but it shows how broad the opportunity is. From that much larger landscape, these are the 4 areas I will focus on today. First, visual production. Second, customer experience. Third, content and marketing. And fourth, jewelry design in 3D. Let's start with the most immediate example, turning one product photo into brand-ready imagery. Every jewelry brand wants to showcase its products beautifully and in its own way. With AI, you can start with a photo of the jewelry piece. It can even be a photo taken with your phone. Then you can upload a reference for the kind of setting you want. AI places that exact jewelry piece into the setting. For example, on my screen, I have placed the exact same ring in 4 different settings. Another thing that you can do is putting the jewelry on a model. You start with a photo of your jewelry and the kind of model you want to wear it. AI creates that model wearing the jewelry. Here, you can see how same model and jewelry can be adapted across different visual styles depending on what suits your brand. AI can also help you create your own models. There are 3 main ways to do this. First, you can describe the person in words. For example, their ethnicity, age, styling, or overall look. Second, you can use
So
a visual reference.
sorry, I'm just going to pause you here. If we could please all mute our mics, that would be very helpful. All right, perfect. I think we can continue.
Okay, so I was saying there are 3 main ways to create an AI model using AI. First, you can describe the person in words. For example, their ethnicity, age, styling, or overall look. Second, you can use a visual reference to guide the direction without copying a real person. Or third, you can turn an actual person into a supermodel. So, for example, here I turned a real person into a model. Her name is Ruby. On the left is a real person photo we started with. On the right is the model identity created from her. This was done with her knowledge and, of course, her permission. In this way, you can create a stylized, consistent model identity that you can use in your visual workflows. When done this way, you get to create a consistent brand face. You can use that face across several shoots, styles, and different looks. For a brand, this creates continuity. Next, you're also probably aware of virtual try-ons. Now this already exists, but we mostly see in the jewelry spaces augmented reality try-ons. Brands like Pandora and Swarovski have offered this type of experiences in their websites. In augmented reality, jewelry appears as live overlay, kind of like a sticker, not actually worn. It's quick and supports faster and more impulsive purchase. In contrast, you can also have generative AI-powered virtual try-ons. The way this works is the customer starts with a selfie. The system then creates a photorealistic image where the jewelry is naturally worn. instead of placed on top like a sticker. This obviously takes longer than augmented reality, but the finished result can be saved, shared, or sent to the customer by email or other means. That makes it useful for more considered higher value purchases or remarketing to the customer. It also gives the brand a reason to bring the customer back after their first visit. Some reported examples show around 15% lift in the conversion. Moving on, let's talk about shopping assistants. For example, a customer visits a website because their mother's birthday is approaching. They may not know the collection names or the exact piece they want, but they know what their mother likes. An AI shopping assistant can ask the same questions a good sales associate would ask. Who is the gift for? What's the occasion? What style do they wear? And what is the budget? And that way, they can suggest the right kind of piece from your jewelry collection. A lot of jewelers prefer having these configurators on their websites. Generative AI can also enable configurators, but they are little different from what you are used to. For example, a customer likes a design, but wants to personalize it. They may want a different metal, a different setting, a different stone. A typical configurator usually shows only the combinations the brand has already built or pre-rendered. It is accurate, predictable, but limited to those prepared options. On the other hand, a generative configurator can go further. It can create a photorealistic concept preview of a new combination, even when the exact version was not pre-rendered. This helps customers visualize an idea before the final CAD approval. So this is the new class of configurators that allows customers to go further and do much more than they were able to do before. Another use case you may have heard of is using generative AI for content and marketing. It can help you create advertising concepts, social posts, and content calendars tailored to your brand aesthetics. Imagine you have a bridal collection launching in 6 weeks. It can help you plan what to publish before the launch, what to share during the launch week, and how to continue the story afterwards. The calendar can also respond to seasons, local events, and global occasions. That removes the last-minute scramble that most teams have when they are deciding these things. So AI is really good at these. Last but not the least, AI is also starting to support jewelry design and 3D workflows. However, traditional CAD still requires technical skill and a strong understanding of how jewelry is made. AI does not replace that expertise, but it can be used as a very useful ideation tool. A designer can start with a text description or a sketch or a reference image and use AI to create an early 3D concept. The CAD designer can even edit it and tweak whatever they want, including the proportions, settings, and construction details. The same 3D CAD model can then be used for prototyping, catalog images, and marketing visuals. So AI is not replacing the CAD designers. It is simply giving them a faster starting point. Now that we have discussed a fair number of use cases that you can try with AI, now moving towards more fundamental question. Why does jewelry need a different level of care than typical AI image generation models that have been applied to, for example, apparel or other hard objects? Jewelry requires its own specialized AI. It is expensive, it is emotional, and it is built on trust. Typical AI tools can easily get the jewelry wrong, although they look plausible at first, but on a closer look, the prompt count may have changed, the stone shape may have changed, the image may still be beautiful, but it is no longer the actual product. That is why at FormaNova, we focus on making sure the jewelry does not change in AI-generated visuals. That's our specialty. Our first principle is jewelry preservation. Creativity belongs in the styling, environment, and the story, and not in changing the jewelry. And we make sure of that it remains that one constant thing throughout all the photo shoots or videos or whatever we create. And we support all of that by not only using human inspections, but also using mathematical metrics to measure jewelry preservation. Another thing brands sometimes get wrong with AI is using models that looks too synthetic. People can easily tell they are fake, and that can break customer trust. It is not just about flat or better textures. AI-generated models often have a certain look that is easy to recognize. As we can see more AI content, our brains are becoming better at noticing what we call AI slop. So having some kind of realism where you can't tell it's AI, that is the way to go. That is something we strive for at FormaNova. Our goal is not for someone to say that is a model good looking, or is this AI model good enough? That is a good AI model. The goal is for them to look twice and ask, is this actually AI? Another point I would like to add, no matter which AI tool you use, one rule of thumb to always follow: good photo in, good result out. Bad photo in, bad result out. So output is not only dependent on how good your prompt or AI model that you used was, it also depends on how good your input image was. A blurry, cropped, or badly lit image forces the system to guess. And when it's guessing, it can make mistakes. I would like to close by saying that AI has a lot of creativity and efficiency baked into it, but it does not have taste. It can generate options, but it does not truly understand your brand. It does not know why one image feels elegant while another feels generic. That judgment still comes from human. So use AI for speed, scale, and exploration, but keep humans responsible for taste, direction, and final approval. The best results will not come from AI replacing the human creativity. They will come from AI supporting it. Thank you. And now I will hand over to my colleague Hassan, who will say a few words about how to implement AI in your business.
Okay, thank you, Uswa. Hi, everyone. My name is Hassan, and I'm one of the co-founders of FormaNova, along with Sophia. We're basically an applied AI research lab based out of New York City. And I think Uswa's slide that we're looking at right now, AI does not have taste, humans do. I think that's the right time to pivot the discussion towards how to implement AI projects in your businesses. Now, Uswa mentioned a lot of possible applications, but seeing so many possibilities can sometimes make the starting point more confusing. So to get rid of the confusion, I want to ask a question. Is there a framework using which you can pick the right AI implementation for you and your company? I believe there is such a framework. We can move on to, yeah, okay, thank you. So please look at the examples on this slide. you'll notice they all have something in common. They don't start with the technology. They start with a specific business condition that needs improvement. So when implementing AI in your business, don't start with asking, where all can we use AI? Because that question has a lot of answers. You can pretty much use AI in anything, right? For example, just from the top of my head, like photography, customer support, marketing, inventory management, catalog management, design, etc. Right? So it becomes really hard to decide. Instead, begin with the problem. Ask, what is repeatedly taking too long, costing too much, preventing us from scaling, or causing customers to churn or drop out? And critically, try to define that bottleneck or that problem with a number, a metric. A metric is important because once your AI project is implemented, you would want to see that same metric improve. Next slide, please. And then once you've identified the problem, the next question is, how deep does your AI implementation need to be? Now, broadly speaking, it could be at 3 particular levels deep. The first and the simplest or the shallowest level is to use just an existing AI app. There's no technical implementation here. You just create an account, you start using it. And now there are many AI apps out there. For instance, AI photography, virtual try-on, customer support, recommendations, so on, so forth. And I'm sure you've already seen a bunch of these. In fact, FormaNova itself is one such example. Any jewelry business can just log into formanova.ai, upload its pieces, and begin producing visual assets for their e-commerce or social media needs. Now, overall, using an AI app is the most sensible starting point when the workflow is relatively standard and the app already solves your problem. So that's the first level, but you can go deeper than that. The second level is directly integrating AI into your own system. For example, if you made a shopping assistant, it would have to be connected to your product information. It can't just be disconnected, sitting in the cloud, and then somehow magically knows what your catalog looks like. Or if you're doing a marketing assistant, it would have to understand your brand style and your campaign calendar. Basically, at this level, the AI itself is not custom, but the workflows that you build around it is going to be custom. And finally, there's the third level of AI adoption, a bespoke implementation. Only do this when your company has unique requirements which standard AI techniques can't fulfill, or when you want to leverage your proprietary data, or when you can't have your data exposed to the Googles or the OpenAIs of the world. Now, bespoke implementations may require training a new model. And in those situations, you first have to aggregate the data produced by your firm, and then you pre-process that data to make it ready for training the AI model. And then normally a specialist team would do this for you. For example, our own team has substantial experience in this. We've conducted over 200 AI model training runs and created over 76 data sets. Thank you. So how do you choose between these 3 levels of AI adoption? Generally, just go for the simplest solution that solves your problem. For instance, if an existing app handles your task well enough, don't train your own AI model. But if repeatedly moving data from the existing app to your internal system is taking a long time, then a native integration makes more sense. Or if you really want to keep all of your data in-house, then a private or a fully bespoke implementation is better. Mainly, the important thing to remember is that greater customization also brings greater responsibility. A bespoke system must be tested, monitored, secured, maintained, and improved as the underlying technology changes. Next slide, please. Thank you. So before you roll out a full system, start with a controlled pilot, or what we call a sandbox. This simply means deploying the solution in a limited way just to test it out. For example, suppose you wanted to roll out virtual try-on in your website. The best way is to first test it on a select few items, and see how it performs compared to similar items without virtual try-on, and only then decide whether it should be rolled out broadly or not. So basically, once the AI performs well on representative examples and the underlying metrics are improving, you have a much stronger basis for scaling the solution. Now, a little bit about the last mile, which is perhaps the hardest part of enterprise AI. Many AI projects don't fail because the AI is incapable. They fail because the AI never becomes part of any real process. For example, nobody owns the quality control process. The prototype works in a demo, but breaks when ordinary employees and customers start using it. And to solve this last mile problem, companies are increasingly working with what are known as forward deployed engineers, or FDEs. You can think of a forward deployed engineer as an AI engineer from a company like ours who gets embedded in your team and your company. So instead of receiving a requirements doc and disappearing for months and eventually returning with a finished system, the forward deployed engineer works closely with your people who actually perform the process. They observe the workflow, identify the friction, build prototypes right there, examine what fails in the real world, and make adjustments on the fly. Now, FDEs are not required for every project, but they're a huge help when delivering complex AI projects. So folks, I'm going to wrap this up. If you have a problem you believe AI can solve, do a one-on-one consultation with us. Just email us at studio@formanova.ai. Essentially, just identify one recurring process that is slow, expensive, converting less, or difficult to scale. And tell us how the process works today. Show us some representative examples. Tell us how much time or money it consumes and what a successful outcome would look like to you. And from there, we can determine whether the appropriate solution for you is just to use one of the AI apps out there in the wild, or try an AI integration, or build a bespoke system. We can do all three for you. It's also entirely possible that AI may not have the correct answer at this point in time. It looks like it's rampant and it's everywhere, but you got to understand it's still early years for AI, and a lot of the innovation in AI is yet to happen. So we'll assess all of that for you. Oh, and if you just want to try our standard app that's available too, just go to formanova.ai to give it a shot. As Sophie mentioned, as part of this partnership, eligible DJG members will receive complimentary credits to try it out properly. All right, folks, that's all I had. Thank you very much for your attention. Sophia, Uswa, and myself are happy to field any questions you folks may have.
Thank you so much. We're opening the floor for any questions that anyone would have.
So, I mean, I have two questions at the moment, so I'll just start. So, how will an AI sales assistant adjust its tone to comfort an anxious, like engagement ring buyer versus a career-driven, like client self-purchasing?
Are you talking about personalization for a customer when he comes to your platform to kind of understand the customer's needs?
Yes, I mean, like, see, when a customer comes to the self-purchasing, and like he sees a lot of things in a ring, he sees the cuts, he sees the finishing product, he sees a lot of things. But like on a platform, okay, when, he sees only a picture, he sees a video. So
Yeah.
how he will decide?
How he will decide. So this comes under the umbrella of, I think, what you're talking about, a AI shopping assistant. So a lot of brands right now are integrating what they call shopping assistants. A good example is Ralph Lauren, who has integrated an assistant called Ralphie. So what that does is it basically talks to your customer like a person. It's like, okay, hi, oh, how may I help you? Are you looking for a ring for your wife or your mother or someone? And then what kind of diamonds are you interested? Are you interested in an emerald cut, or are you looking for a colored diamond, or and stuff like that? So basically it gathers information. And if that user is logged into your website and has an account with you, the AI can store that information for further purchases. So for example, if that customer buys a ring for his wife, then when Valentine's Day comes along or his anniversary comes along, he can like send a reminder that, hey, are you looking for something to get for Valentine's Day? So that really engages the customer further for further purchases and also does a great job at personalization.
And I think I'd like to add one thing here as well. Think of AI as intelligence in a box, right? How would you solve this problem yourself? If it was you, like prowling around on your website and you had a conversation with person, all that training material that you would use to, for example, train one of your salespeople, if you can just make that available to the underlying AI model, it would do exactly the same thing. It would make the right decisions. The difference would be that in this particular case, you'd be able to measure, get reports of those decisions and actually see what percentage of those were, for example, edge cases that were not handled, and then you can fix them the next time around. That's sort of like the general way of looking at these things, that what you're getting is this intelligent thing that you can throw at any problem, just like you would a human. And sometimes it's going to make mistakes, but it's getting better and better at managing these things.
Yeah, and I really find that question interesting because you might have noticed that people's shopping behavior has changed. So people are now not going into Google writing down ring with a sapphire or something like that. They're going to ChatGPT or other LLMs to say, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for this for my wife, my mom or whatever, and then getting very customized and personalized responses. And customers can do exactly that on your website right over there. The advantage is that you get to store that information for further purchases as well. I hope that answers the question.
Thank you, Sophia and Nathan. And sorry, I just have another question.
Mhm.
So, can AI predict which gemstones, gods, or metal will trend in our region in the coming years?
Sorry, could you repeat that, please?
So, I just want to ask, like, can AI predict which gemstone, gods, or metal will trend in our region in the coming years?
I think so. I think any intelligent LLM, my favorite these days is Claude, can analyze information easily accessible on the internet to kind of analyze that these are the trends which have been moving on in the previous years and do like a prediction on what could be the next trend based on market signals, reports, and also news. So I think that's an interesting use case that you could try on maybe Claude or ChatGPT, whichever LLM you prefer.
And I'd like to flag one thing here, and that is that like prediction of trends has been around for a while now, right? Like this is an econometrics question. So before you would even throw like a big LLM at it, I would say just have like typical regression models, try them out. Machine learning has been around, for example, for the past 15 years now, and see whether that provides you good enough predictions which are usable, and then you're getting better ROI, right? Before you jump to like some of these bigger models, because the token cost could be exorbitant. You could end up, for example, paying a lot, and something that could have been done with just a linear regression or an econometric model, like old school stuff. You don't need to have something much more complex for that. That's how I would approach the problem. I would try to like do the least amount that I can to fix the problem. And if that works, I'll stop there. But then only escalate to more and more complex solutions if warranted.
Thank you.
Perfect. Are there any other questions from everyone?
Hi, I'm Ada. I just want to know about can these AI models can be used for both images and videos, or any are they limited to static visuals only?
Sorry, 3D images? Are you referring to kind of 3D images right now or videos?
No, only for the AI model images. I'm talking about.
So, okay, so you're talking about the model who would be wearing the jewelry?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, so that Totally depends on your preferences. AI has become very intelligent in helping you generate a customized model. That's something that we also do for a lot of our clients, where they have a specific brand identity or creative direction in mind. You can go into the exact specifics. You could go from what kind of hair color you want, what kind of age group you want, ethnicity, and you can define that for the AI. It will generate some results to you. The only thing I would advise is making your prompt very intelligent when it comes to generating the model. As we talked about, that it is very important to make the model realistic. The kind of skin tone and the texture is very important to make it look realistic, because your clients are able to identify that this looks like a realistic photo, this looks like a fake photo. So if the photo looks fake, they're going to start questioning that, is the jewelry going to also look exactly like that or not? And the last thing that you want is to show something different on your website and have something different show up when the customer actually orders that product. So to build trust, I would advise to build the most realistic looking models that you can.
Okay. And this is my doubt. Actually, these images are only for the static visuals, or are we need to create videos for the same model?
Yeah, so AI can definitely generate videos of the same model. There are different models for that. That's also something that we do. Basically, you need a kind of a direction that this is the jewelry item, this is the model, define the scene, and then kind of put that all together to generate a video. So it's absolutely possible. There are different tools out there. We do it as well.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Perfect. All right. Any other questions? All right, perfect. I think that's all from us today. As Hassan mentioned, if you would like to contact us for a one-on-one consultation, you can reach out at this email. If you have any other questions as well, I think we'll be doing the next session in a few weeks also. And if you want to avail the complimentary credits, you can also get in touch with us or Dubai Jewellery Group as well. All right, perfect. Thank you so much, everybody, for your time, and I really hope you enjoyed the session today. Have a great day ahead.
Thanks, guys. See you.